If you want to make the most out of a new set release on Magic Arena, then you need to follow some kind of plan. So here's my plan that should help you get a head start on building your collection, getting used to the new set, and finding your place in the new meta. Welcome back to Game School Dad with me, Martin, and today we're talking about what you should do in the first few weeks of a new set being released. So when a new set comes out, there are lots of things that change. Lots of cards get introduced, and especially in standard constructed, these extra cards and new mechanics can make things shift around a lot, and some of the decks that you had before might not work. Some of the cards you used before might have upgrades, so lots of changes. Different types of people will treat the release of a new set very differently. Some people will buy the 50-pack pre-order bundle. They'll have all these packs at the start, they'll open them all to get as many cards as possible, and they'll probably start experimenting with those cards, building new decks, and trying to find ways of improving on what they already have. These people are usually the ones that have a lot of spare money they want to put into the game because they spend the money on packs, open the packs straight away. But not everyone does that, so the meta and everything doesn't shift immediately. It's not like on day one suddenly everything's different. There's a period of gradual change, so you'll probably see most of the same decks but with a few different cards in them. Now, if you want to follow the absolute most efficient strategy possible for building your collection, you shouldn't open any packs or use any wildcards to start with. But the thing with the most efficient strategy, it's sometimes in conflict with what's more enjoyable. So although it might be more efficient to leave all your packs until the end of a set to open them, it's actually fun to open packs, so people want to open them sooner, get those cards sooner, and start using them. So we have to find the right balance between the most efficient strategy and making sure the game's still fun. And that balance will depend on our individual way that we want to play the game and what suits our circumstances. So I follow the rule of using maybe a few wild cards to craft new cards that I really like the look of and I want to try out, and I know that I'm going to get some ongoing value out of. So when Dominaria United came out, I crafted a couple of Sheldreds because I could tell it was a card that was going to get a lot of use and I really wanted to try. With Brothers War, I crafted a couple of Phyrexian Flesh Gorgers because I could see how well that card was going to do. And for Phyrexia All Will Be One, Phyrexian Obliterator is my top pick that I want to just try out and do all kinds of fun things with. And I'm starting to realise that maybe Mono Black is my favourite deck type. But I know these cards are going to fit into not just the Mono Black deck that I like to play, but also other decks. We can mix the colours up. They can work with other things as well. So I know I'm going to get good use out of these specific cards. I don't mind using some wild cards to get those cards in advance, get them at the beginning of a set, and start using them straight away. In that first week, or the first 2 weeks, we also have the option of doing jump-in events. Now for every set that's come out recently, since the jump-in events have been a common thing, we've had 10 new half packs for the new set. So in Dominaria United, we had 10 new half packs, 20 cards. For Brothers War, we had the same 10 new packs. For All Will Be One, we also have 10 new packs. And when you enter a jump-in event, one of the first 3 packs that you can choose from will be one that you haven't chosen before. So if you've played quite a few jump-in events and a new set comes out and you go to a jump-in event, it will give you the option of picking one of the new ones, in theory. And my plan is to make use of these jump-in events to collect quite a few new cards and get used to using those new cards in an event that only costs 1,000 gold to enter. And for the number of cards you get for that, it's a really good deal. As long as the cards you get are relatively playable and usable in other formats. But generally the way the jump-in packs work is those cards do synergize with each other, at least to some extent. They're on a theme at least. So you would expect that you could build a deck around that and improve it with maybe other rare or mythic cards, or mixing it in with other cards from other sets. So my plan is to make use of those jump-in events to start with, to get used to them, to start building up a bit of a collection with the new set. And then we have the quick draft season, that initial quick draft season, which normally starts 1 or 2 weeks after the set has been released. And the quick draft season itself lasts for 2 weeks. So we get 2 weeks where we can do as many quick drafts as possible with the new set, especially if you followed my advice before, where you saved up lots of gold or gems that you can use to pay for all those events. So if you have 30 or 40 or 50,000 gold, you can pay for lots of quick draft events in those 2 weeks. And the reason why we want to do so many quick drafts in that 2-week window is because we're going to get the most collection building value out of a set that we don't own any cards or very few cards of to start with. And you'll get so much practice of those cards versus those cards in that set. You'll get used to the cards that you win with, the cards that beat you. So you'll get a really good feeling of which cards are going to be really useful in constructed games going forward. And if you want to get some extra practice in quick draft events, you can also use a second free-to-play account to gain your daily gold and enter quick draft events, which won't help your collection because it's on a separate account, so it's not your main collection, but it will give you more practice in quick drafts and you'll be able to do more of them. So you can make your mistakes on your second free-to-play account and apply what you've learned from that when you do more quick drafts on your main account. It might be something you already know about, but I will go into more detail on that in another video. Now, like I said, the absolute most efficient strategy would be to not use any wildcards or not use any packs, not open any packs from the new set until you're at least done with all the drafts you want to do. If you have a high enough win rate to go infinite in quick drafts or close to that, then maybe you don't want to open any packs or use any wildcards yet. But if your win rate in quick drafts is on the lower side, then after you've done that 2-week window of quick drafts, if you have taken part in as many of them as you can, then you have a time after that where I think it's safe to maybe use a few more wildcards or open a few more packs just to get the cards that you really want to try that you haven't yet got from any jump-in events or any quick drafts that you've done so far. Because after the quick draft season of 2 weeks is done near the beginning of a set, the standard meta should have started to settle down into new meta decks, new budget decks, and new fun combos that you can pull off. And you can see what's going on just by playing games, playing the standard play queue, or playing ranked games, and seeing what kind of decks you're up against now. It's probably different than what it was in the first few days of the set being launched. Or you can pick up trends from content creators on YouTube, perhaps. Or if you use an app like MTG Assistant, you can have a look at the top decks, the top meta decks that are out at the moment. And so it'll tell you a percentage of roughly how many people are using those decks and what cards you need to craft them. There are also other quick draft seasons that happen later on in the set. So if you're planning to do those, I wouldn't open very many packs or use many wildcards right now. But if you just want to get opening all those packs that you've got so far, then now's the best time to do it. And from this point on, all that's left to do is to start having fun with the cards that you've opened, start making up different decks, trying out different ideas, because you've got quite a lot of value at the beginning, more than anyone else who just skips that and just buys a few packs. You've got some rares and some new cards from the jump-in events and a good bunch of cards from all the quick drafts that you've done. You'll start getting packs from the Mastery Pass if you've bought that already. If you haven't, make sure you do with the gems that you've won from the quick draft. You can just start opening those packs as soon as possible. There are a couple of reasons why you might want to hold off a bit and only open a few packs or craft a few cards even after the quick draft season is done. Because when we have midweek magic events, or if you get individual card rewards from your daily wins, if you go past those 4 wins, we get all these individual card rewards and they aren't duplicate protected. So if you've opened 4 copies of a rare or a mythic from packs, or you've got them from drafts, or you've got them from crafting them specifically with your wildcards, if you open that in a midweek magic or in any other individual card reward, then you'll just get the gems for any rares or mythics instead of getting the card. So it's one card you've missed out on if you've got 4 copies of that one already. It's not necessarily a huge difference, so I wouldn't worry so much. If you just open loads of packs, you're not going to miss out on a huge amount. But like I said, the most efficient strategy isn't always the most fun, so you can pick which balance you want to go with. Whether you want to be absolutely 100% most efficient, or just most fun and you don't care at all about efficiency, or somewhere in the middle. And don't forget, when you get the Mastery Pass, you also get a player draft token in those first few levels, which you can use on a Premier Draft. I would always recommend doing the Premier Draft with that token and just doing the best you can, trying to win gems. Because even if you only get 3 wins from a Premier Draft, you get 1,000 gems back, which is a big boost towards your next Mastery Pass. Or in any case, it's just another draft where you're getting more cards. But try to do that before you open too many packs or use wildcards because of the whole duplicate protection thing. One other thing that you'll find people that do a lot of drafting do, and you'll hear this recommended, if you have lots and lots of common and uncommon wildcards, you can use all of those common and uncommon wildcards, or as many as you have, on crafting as many as you can from the new set. Which basically means when you do all your quick drafts, Every common or uncommon you pick that you've already got 4 copies of will give you a tiny percentage boost towards your vault progress, which is just a tiny bit of extra progress towards getting 2 rare wildcards and 1 mythic wildcard whenever you fill up that 100% vault collection. It's not a good exchange rate, but if you have lots of common and uncommon wildcards and you do a lot of drafting, that's one way just to improve your chances of getting a tiny bit more rare or mythic cards from the set. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Are there any other tips you have for people in the first few weeks of a new set being launched? Is there anything that you do that I haven't mentioned already? And don't forget you can like this video and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you don't miss out on any future Magic Arena videos I make, talking about the economy and how to get the most out of the game. So thanks for watching to the end, and I will see you in the next video.